On this episode of AV Week, we are coming to you from InfoComm 2017. As we do with most of these shows, we have a cavalcade of guests. So sit back, relax, and we will tell you what we have all taken away from InfoComm 2017 in Orlando.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AV Week, episode 303, recorded Friday, June 16th, 2017. Live from InfoComm 2017, Part 1.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Buy-In and by FSR.
This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audiovisual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. We are coming to you from InfoComm 2017 in a killer room. We'll talk about that in a second. Oh my gosh. This show is like a lot of our other shows that we've done at events. We're going to have a number of guests. We'll talk to them about how their week has been, what they thought of the show, the technology, and the connections they've made. First group to help me talk about this, first and foremost, is our host for the week. And thank you so much, Mr. Dave Labuskes from InfoComm, for the space. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for the coverage.
Oh, absolutely.
And the support.
If you're not at the show, so you're watching this, if you're sitting where we are, just on the other side of us are two ginormous windows that we've overlooked the show the entire time. It's been incredible. It's an incredible view.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Also with us is Mike Blackman, head of ISE. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tim.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Mr. Shaun Robinson from Harman by Samsung.
Samsung a Harman company. Glad I didn't mix that up.
You did
mix that up.
Harman a Samsung company.
Harman a Samsung company.
Not vice versa.
If you did that, it would have been actually a bigger story.
Yeah. Well, what's your play in Korea right now? Do you get exposure down there?
I think I have a couple hundred.
Yeah. Okay.
Downloads, all of them in Seoul.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely Harman a Samsung company.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. Dave, we're going to start with you. Probably an unfair question. We're recording this at 2:00. The show actually stops at 4. I'm not going to ask you an official number because, again, that's not fair. You don't know the official number yet because there's still 2 hours. But a sense, or a sense of growth from last year, or the same as last year as far as attendance numbers.
You know, there's 20 different numbers I could give you. And
pick one.
Yeah. How long you got? Growth is double-digit growth.
Good.
Off of record. It's exceeded virtually anybody's expectations.
Okay, good. And just as a reminder for folks listening and watching, last year you guys hit 39,000. So the growth from that would be pretty remarkable.
Indeed it is.
All right.
Indeed it is.
Mike, I've asked you this a couple different years now, but I'll ask you again. You travel to a lot of different InfoComm shows and a lot of other shows as well. You go to CDN. Yeah. ISE is half owned by CDN, half owned by InfoComm. When you come to this show, what do you come expecting?
Well, the two things. One is that we have a lot of meetings here.
Yeah.
Internally, as you say, we're part of InfoComm. But on the other side, a lot of our customers are here, and both attendees and manufacturers out, the exhibitors and the attendees. So we come here. We're actually, my sales team are here. They're selling. My marketing team are here, seeing what and learning from an InfoComm team, see what they're doing. We look at what Jason and his team have created here to see what can we borrow. And we do it, actually, we do this. I come here and I see something and say, wow, that's cool. Let's do it at ISE. And we do something with it and we change it a little bit. Then Jason comes and says, wow, that's cool what you've done with that. And he takes it back and changes it again. So we have this evolution of ideas that just keep rolling every 6 months. So we gain a lot from experiencing. When I first started in this industry and was joined, we started ISE, my first show was InfoComm. And I walked around here like a kid, big eyes looking at everything and thinking, this is so cool. So I've always enjoyed InfoComm, and it's for me, a key thing. What I can only echo what Dave has said, and for someone who I think I know something about exhibitions,
a little bit.
It's definitely the vibe here is up tremendously. We hear it from the exhibitors. Everyone is saying this is exciting. We see a lot more. There's more business on the floor. We recognize the floor is busier.
Well, you said that the attendees are also your customers. How do you
Yes,
say
some of them as well. So, this is an international business, and it's not that some time ago, yes, there were only product launches once a year, but it's continuous now. So there was one group here from Germany. One of our board members brings about 30 partners in, and these are the people he sees as the early adopters. So they want to keep up to date. That means they can't just come to ISE and see what's going on. They have to come here to InfoComm to see what's new. What else can they use to enhance and improve their business? So they come here to see that. In fact, we've had 2 large groups from Germany. We know of others as well who still come here. Although they're at ISE, they still want to come and they need to be at InfoComm to see what's happening in the business and keep up to date and keep ahead.
We have people here from 117 countries.
Wow.
And 17% of the people attending are from outside of the United States. It's actually a record international show.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people think that as we've established more and more shows around the world, we're going to reduce our attendance here. And it's absolutely true, and it's proven out in the numbers that this show continues to draw the leaders from around the world.
Wow. Shaun, this is your first show, or Harman's first show as a wholly owned subsidiary of Samsung. But you guys had you had a Harman booth. It wasn't incorporated into Samsung.
Right.
So from a Harman perspective, how do you think the show went?
It was phenomenal, and coming off a fantastic ISE, right? I mean, and literally, and again, I spent all my time in the booth up until today, and it's just been solid. And what I really appreciate is it's a great time for us not only to engage with our integrators and our AV consultants, but also end customers. We've seen a tremendous amount of end customer participation both at ISE and here at InfoComm, which is fantastic, right? So it's that wide spectrum that we're able to meet with, right, and get a lot of great customer insight as a result. So it's a fantastic place to do that, and that's why my voice is like this, is because for 2 days with these folks, which is awesome, and it gives us a really good place to highlight new product announcements at both. And just to Mike's point, we're releasing products all the time now. So we tailor some things specifically for the U.S. education market for ISE because that gets right into that buying cycle, and then a lot of other things fall into InfoComm. So the 2 times now, what I would love to do is if we can switch the locations. I'm sure these guys have never heard that from any exhibitors, but boy, if we could do Amsterdam in June and then do Vegas or Orlando in February, that would be awesome. Wouldn't that a great idea?
Did anybody ever think of that?
I know. But you know what? Love all the places, and but it's been fantastic. It's been phenomenal. These guys do a great job putting on a great exhibit.
See, this is what I do. I bring people together, and ideas just foster like that. See what happens?
Innovation here at InfoComm.
Yes. We need our huddle space to collaborate, and then we can,
Oh, good Lord.
To Shaun's point, let me just throw
Yeah,
here's
absolutely.
I told you I had 20 numbers.
Yeah.
So another number, new record of end users coming to the show, 41%.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Of people that were here were end user customers. Last night I had McDonald's, Coca-Cola, MetLife, Caterpillar, Burberry, Kohl's, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citicorp, all at a suite that we were entertaining them at, where we wouldn't let any customers or any of the exhibitors at.
Yeah.
But they had all spent at least 2 or 3 days here. These were the global decision makers for those companies saying, I've never been to InfoComm before, but I will be back from now on.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I agree with you where that's a good thing. I have had heated discussions with integrators across the country where some are absolutely on board and they think it's a wonderful idea, and others are like, well, no, they don't belong here. Why do end users belong here, Dave?
2 reasons. One, there's a store in the United States that used to sell men's clothes that says an educated consumer is our best customer, right? The more that your customer understands what you can create for them and what you can deliver, the higher they're going to value that. The more they value it, the more they're going to pay you. That's just the reality. The other reason is that our exhibitors who drive the show and drive the show's growth want the end users here. And they want the end users here not to cut out the integrators. There's no desire to do that. What they want to hear from the end users is, what do you need? And please help me with that. But it's
That's absolutely right.
where are your needs coming for the next 3 to 5 years? Because Shaun's got a product roadmap he needs to be. He needs those people to tell him what he wants.
Do you know? I heard from more than one manufacturer this year. They were like, you look at this product. It does this and this and this, and this product is an absolute direct result from a end user saying, "Can you do this? Can you do this?" You know, a good friend of mine that is, you know, I'll ask him every once in a while. He goes, "You know what? We're all coin operated, and if you tell me that this is a need and it makes business sense, we're going to make it. But we have to know, right? You have to know, and this is absolutely one of the ways that guys like Shaun can find out."
We have end user groups coming to ISC, and I know Jason does the same thing here. We have hosted buyer programs where we actually work with integrators who bring their customers. This is the best showcase for an integrator to show his customers what he can do. He may not be able to show that in his own showroom or his own location, but he can bring his customers here and go, "This is what I have to offer."
Yeah. Shaun, from that standpoint, what have you taken away from this show as far as that?
Yeah, and just to tag on to what Dave and Mike are saying, you know, with a company the size of Harman, right? I mean, you start moving past the boxes into what can we do for the end customer, and this is a great opportunity for manufacturers to be able to highlight the total solution, right? Because at the end of the day, for an end customer, they're interested in solving their business problem with technology. They're not interested in a box, and this gives us a great opportunity to put all the boxes together and show an experience. And that's why it's great for integrators, to your point, Mike, to bring an end user in, because they can see, oh, now I can visualize what all of this stuff does together and how it's going to benefit my business, right? And so it's an awesome opportunity for integrators to grow their business by bringing an integrator, bringing an end user, and we've seen that happen over and over. And also, to Dave's point, internationally, right?
Yeah.
Integrators and end customers coming from other regions of the world and doing the same thing. So it's been great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ask all of you sort of the same question. Mr. Labuskes, you first. What was your favorite part of this week?
I met 3 young men. I should remember their names to say this. Yesterday at the live events reception.
Okay.
And if they were 50 in combined age between the 3 of them, I'd be surprised. They had just started a business in live events. They were bumped into our CTS program via one of my employees sitting next to them on the plane. They signed up for our education. They are in the midst of earning their CTS. Their business is growing. They've doubled the number of gigs they have. And they stopped and just said thank you for what InfoComm brings to us to be able to live our dream.
Yeah.
There's a million other things here that have happened, but it's the little things that we as an association do to change people's lives that just humble me and make me feel so privileged to have this job.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Blackman, what are you taking away from this week?
Great opening party.
He's so much deeper than I am.
Well, he's not wrong. I mean,
No, you know, for me, this event is all about networking. And I have met so many people I know and so many new people from being here. I mean, I know the manufacturers. I'm a geek, you know. I'm interested in this stuff. So I go around and I look at the products. But at the end of the day, I'm more interested in meeting the people. And this is just the you know, I get here, I don't have this chance at ISE.
No.
I get to go and shake hands. I get to go and meet all the leaders in the industry and other people. And what I always do, when I walk across or get on the bus and I see people walking along who are obviously technicians or installers or whatever, I talk to them. And I say, you know, what are you doing here? Like you said, Dave, and because I find it interesting, I say, you know, what are you trying to find out here? And I met some guys this morning who said that, yeah, something very similar, actually. They came along and they're coming here just to find out and see what's available and learn about it. And they're really enthusiastic about the show and the association. And it gives me a great feeling, say, I'm in the right place. I'm working for the right organization because they create all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Shaun, what was your favorite part of this week?
It's really just all the discussions with the customers and all the insight that we can gather. You know, when we visit with end customers, you know, you visit with one for one day, and then maybe the next week you visit another one, or maybe day to day. but having it in a rapid succession, right? And especially around a new product that you're announcing. And so you're saying, hey, look, here's what business problem we're solving, all that. And then getting their direct feedback, but one right after each other, you can see the themes, right? And at the end of the day, it's all about getting that insight in so you can continue to improve what you're offering to your customer. And so I really, really value that. And these shows are phenomenal for doing that, because it's the one place you can get everybody together and then have those discussions one right after the other, and then it makes it really easy to discover themes, right? And then that helps us from a development process to make sure we continue to deliver value to the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, gentlemen. Well, that's I'll let you guys get on because this is still a busy week. Shaun, how do people find you or Harman?
So Harman.com or HarmanPro.com. Yeah. That'd be the best way to do it. Yeah.
Mr. Blackman, I will see you in ISE. And
I'm looking forward to it, and we're gonna give you a great studio. Yeah, I got to top this.
Yeah, you. Okay, I'll let you two duke that out. The odd thing is I'm the beneficiary, but you guys knock yourselves out. How do people find you if they're interested in coming over and going visiting ISE?
So iseurope.org. First week of February in 2018, going to be another bigger show. Lots of new things there as well. So keep a look at the website. There'll be a lot of new information going on straight after this show. And then the big launch in September is when most of the new stuff, and you'll see who the keynotes are and what's going on.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. Mr. Labuskes, thank you as always, sir.
My pleasure.
How do people find you?
InfoCommShow.org, InfoComm.org, @David Labuskes.
All right, very good. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a little break, and we're going to get our next group of guests here.
Great.
All right, next segment up, 3 more guests. First and foremost, the left-hand side of my brain, and a fine human being. His name is George Tucker, and he has been doing a bang-up job this week.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's all love in the room.
Oh, there is. There is. Next up is Bill Tennell from Utology. How are you, sir?
Very good, thank you.
Yes, this is your first time on one of our shows. So
it is indeed.
We're not going to be gentle. Last but not least, Mr. Brock McGinnis from Westbury National.
Nice to be here, Tim.
Thank you, sir. I'll start with you. How was your week?
Exhausting, invigorating, exciting. There's the industry is doing well. Mood was very upbeat this week. Lots of truly improved product out there that our customers are going to be happy to see.
You said the industry is improving. Do you get that sense from the show? Do you get that sense from the vendors, from the manufacturers?
Manufacturers and other integrators.
Okay.
Everybody's busy. Everybody seems to be making money. There was no gloom and doom at all. People I know have more attendees here from their companies than they've ever had in the past. Certainly some of our exhibitors have really stepped up the game this year and there are just some outstanding. It's not the construction of the booth, it's the way that they're presenting their products, and they're presenting them in much more effective ways. Better content on all those screens, more exhibitors that have audio reinforcement for the people who are explaining the products, which really helps. We're often traveling in a group of 10 or a dozen people. And just people upbeat. Restaurants have been packed all week.
Yes. And
packed late. That tells me that audiovisual is a good place to be right now.
All right. Bill, your booth was actually handcrafted this year.
Yes, it was.
By one of your employees.
Absolutely. Joey D'Angelo.
Yeah.
We spent a couple weekends in his driveway banging away at it. So it was a group effort, and sitting in the sun in Southern California in Joey's driveway as his wife, this is going to be leaving soon, right?
Well, talk about what you guys have done. I mean, and I mention that because your company and Utology specifically, it's been rewarding to watch, right? I remember seeing Frank and Scott probably 4 or 5 years ago, right? It was a small table, it was a small booth, and just trying to explain to people what they were trying to do.
Sure.
And watching that evolution.
Absolutely.
Over the last 4 or 5 years. You were a rep at one point, and now you work for them full time.
Yes.
Explain to folks kind of your journey and Utology's journey.
Sure. So we started to go take a channel approach approximately 3 years ago. So I wasn't introduced into the product until about 2 years ago myself, and when I saw the product, I fell instantly in love. I knew this is exactly what my customers have been looking for inside of their enterprise deployment. So I said yes. I got it instantly. We repped them at Simco, and they're still our rep, doing a wonderful job for us. And a year later, they were like, Bill, you're supposed to talk about the other products we represent as well, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but this is really cool. And then I felt like a baseball player because they had to trade one team for the other, and there was some negotiation back and forth, and I became part of the Utelogy team, and it's been fantastic. And in April, I was given a bit of the ownership of the product itself, and so really being able to work with the development team and sculpt this product into something that I know that the channel and the end user community is really looking for, and it's been an amazing journey. Yeah.
How has your show been?
Overwhelming, exciting, exhilarating as well, but we 3 deep at some points in time where we just can't get to everyone who wants to talk to us.
What a horrible problem to have.
We had 10 people from Utelogy at the booth, and we've got people coming in. I had a couple gentlemen from Diversified saying, I got this. I'll talk through the
Wow.
Yeah. So, and not even to his customer. He's talking to somebody. So it's just this like enthusiasm.
So you have integrators trying to help you talk. That's amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. The response, the groundswell. You could feel it coming into InfoComm this year that this was going to be big for us. Yeah. And then it was started even before the booth opened up. We had other manufacturers coming in. So what are you guys doing? And happy to talk about it. We want to be. We're an open standards product, right? So we want to be open to everybody. And so we'll tell them.
Which is one of the reasons I love you guys.
And we've actually changed the message even more there and said, you don't like this little piece? Well, here's the API. Rebuild it yourself. And that's.
And real quickly to that point,
yes.
You're not just telling manufacturers that. You're telling dealers that.
Absolutely. So
if Westbury doesn't like a certain part of it, their development team can take your API and kind of make it their own.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so the portal side, which is the management tool, again, you want to brand it yours, you want to do a little thing here that's special and unique to you, please do it. There's no we're humble about it. Of course, we want our brand out there, but also we want our channel to be successful, and whatever makes sense for that organization to be successful, we want to give them the tools to do that. And so we give them a very powerful engine to do that, and we continue to create our own products. But far be it from us to tell you which products are the most important to your organization.
Yeah, that's really cool. Mr. Tucker has been running around the show floor and interviewing folks from booth to booth. That his is the pretty face you see it on a lot of our videos. How was, not just from that aspect, but also you had the opportunity today to go or walk around, and what was your sense of this year?
Busy. Again, Brock said about being more open. It seems to be better presented. There was I don't want to say a lightness to it, but it did feel much more accommodating. And maybe that's how they push people through. Maybe that's how everything's lit, but it did feel much less like a maddening dash subway in New York City at 5:30 on a Friday. It really was much more comfortable to walk around.
Do you think that's because of the space itself, because of the square footage, or the way that people made their booths?
I can't quite tell. There seemed to be a lot more open booths, like really open, but it's hard to put a finger on it. It was different.
I hadn't thought about that, George, but I think you're absolutely right. Open booths took people out of the aisles. Mm-hmm. How many years were we preached to, we're in the aisle, somebody's at the barrier border of their booth, and they're creating, well, maybe that's what was outside your booth, Bill. But maybe the exhibitors have solved their own problems.
They used to have high walls on the outside, some of them, or some kind of counters right there to show something, and it just squeezed everybody, I think, psychologically.
Bottlenecked it. Brock, what was, I don't know, one or two, from a technology standpoint or a service standpoint, maybe one or two things that just kind of knocked your socks off, or you're taking back to Westbury on Monday?
I can't believe how good LED has become compared to 2 years ago. There are so many good, and all of a sudden there are big players. LG's in that business. Yeah. Samsung's in that business. And a lot of these little players, I got to think, will go away as a result of that, because my customer wants to buy a brand name. They want to buy Christie Digital. They want to buy Sony. They want to buy, brand names they already understand and know and have some confidence in, particularly as they begin adopting a technology that will be new for them. LED is not new for any of us in the business, and particularly in rental staging, we've had it for quite some time. Panasonic has a very cool product that they're showing in their back room, and I'm just.
Can you talk about it since it was in the back room?
Well, probably. It's called LinkRay.
Okay.
And it is an augmented reality product for retailers or museums, and you walk up to a display of some sort, and you hold your device up, and all of a sudden that display comes to life. And I was what the English would call gobsmacked.
Now, does it come to life through your phone or on the display itself?
I have no idea how it works.
Did you see it through your camera lens, or did you see it on the actual display?
No. They were actually giving us a tablet that they had the software in.
Okay.
But you held up the tablet close enough. Yeah. And so this is a way of providing a customer and museums a perfect application. Yeah. All sorts of information that could be tailored to them. And there were combinations. There was one, it's a static display, but when you looked at it, there were pink gorillas crawling all over it and coming around and back out and other stuff. And that to me was one profound thing that I think is going to carry the industry forward. There was a piece that I saw from Sony, of all people, a company that I haven't thought of as being all that creative or innovative for a number of years, and it's in the collaboration space. And it's for active learning for classrooms, is how they've conceived of it. But it is equally useful for in a corporate environment. When you've got 4 huddle stations within an open collaborative or flex space. It's software based. You are moving content from one screen to another. Various people can interact with their content, and there's lots of products that do that. But I think the list price is $1,500.
Wow.
For software only, and they have a $10,000 hardware box with a lot of gazins and outs. But it was, however they're doing it, it seemed really cost effective and very powerful, and there's a lot of great interactive product on the floor. Interactivity is kind of a buzz. Whether customers adopt it or as excited about it as we will be, Jamboard is pretty much the best of the lot in my mind.
Okay, very
I
interesting.
like that a lot. So, and there's just great stuff.
I was surprised that there's not more AR. I thought that there, at this point in our industry, there'd be more, and the media side would be driving that. I saw that there was a group, I think, from UNC here, who's doing an AR, VR, and AI little demonstration in the back of the the convention center, and I thought that was really cool to bring the student perspective in. I always like it when you can see those design elements coming up. So, but I'm surprised that we don't see more of that AR. I thought when Google Glass first came out that was the next thing. We were all going to be looking at AR for everything, and it's interesting to see that it hasn't quite popped.
By nature, we are hardware people, and AR is a software thing. And you look out, and I know you're in the software business, but you're in the software business because it controls the hardware that the rest of us play with. I think that we want somebody else to do that. That's what I think.
There were some AR offerings at Epson.
Okay.
They're teaming up with a company called, I think it's Athleon. I'll get the proper spelling. AR glasses.
Okay.
Doing enterprise solutions for AR.
Nice.
Part of it was a drone. You get to see the camera. Okay. Thankfully, there was only 1 or 2 drones here this year. I am very thankful for that. Maybe that's why it was better. It was quieter. Yeah. But they also were showing an idea of, say, a technician having AR in front of him for the whole process of solving a problem in front of him.
Love it.
Wow. And I was talking to the main engineer about it and saying eventually they want to get either a body pack or something with their sensors on it So they're almost like bifocals, those AR glasses, right? And as you lock in, there's the product. It identifies it. It locks in a space. And then if you look up, it keeps it in reference so that while you're looking up at what to do, and then it says, yes, that one, connect, dip switch, move, or whatever it is. Think of a municipal employee in those tunnels with the electrical grids and all that. They can do that.
Or here's the thing, training technicians.
Yes.
In AV. I
Well,
mean, seriously.
yeah.
Let's start with soldering, and don't get me on, which pen is hot. But let's start with soldering. Yeah.
Well, even more so, they were doing those immersive meetings. Yes, I know we've always said that 3D was the glasses, and that's its downfall, and we were, siloed. But these aren't really siloed, and if you're having an immersive meeting where you actually are either remote or you need to see the information here while doing something else, it does actually do all that. You see the whiteboard being crossed across the globe. You see the information there, and it's pretty darn handy. And it can have sensors that you go, yes.
Wow.
We ultimately will be driven by technology developed for the gaming world, and the gaming world is developing that. I have to think there'll be some software frameworks that are going to be built as well that will make it more cost effective for other people.
Certainly.
The development's done. You just have to populate at that point.
Well, and also there was a pavilion for immersive technology. It had Samsung, they put the displays, but the main sponsor is Freeman. They bought a AR, VR software development company and are looking at the hardware companies and owning them.
And real quickly, who's Freeman?
Freeman is the one who runs all of these show floors,
Exactly.
all of these physical facilities. They're looking at it for training. They're looking at it for development of modeling spaces. Here's how your show will look. Here's how your booth will look.
Walking through the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the unlikeliest of provocateurs may be driving this.
Absolutely.
I've seen that in the architectural space as well, where they're bringing you into their virtual room, and you can you put on the VR glasses, and now you're moving through the space that as they're imagining it for you. So
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen. I know it's Friday, and we all play. You guys have some more appointments, I'm sure. Mr. Tucker, how do people find you?
At Tucker2 is almost social media, and I write for several trades.
All right. Bill?
Utology.com or Bill_AV on Twitter.
Awesome.
And I am Brock McGinnis on Twitter.
Yes, you are.
You can find me there a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. All right, that's all the time we have for this episode of AV Week. If you want to find us, we are at AVNation.tv, AVNation.tv. You can find our blogs. We also have a section where we ask you to check out our underwriters. These are the folks that make it possible for us to come to InfoComm and bring you the experience. So all that and more at AVNation.tv. AVNation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This has been AV Week.